So I'm going to give you 8 things that you can do so that you can take advantage of and master your new beginnings. Number 1, I want you to change your mind. Change your mind. As a man thinks, so is he. As a woman thinks, so is she. So whatever you think about yourself, whatever you think about your circumstances, whatever you think about your surroundings, whatever you think about your ability to acquire wealth, to get your money straight, that's exactly what it will be. You know, I was living check to Monday. That meant I got paid on Friday, and by Monday I was broke. See, check to check would have been a blessing. That means you get paid on Friday and by the next payday. But when you live in check to Monday, things are very bleak. I was also living check to 2 o'clock, which is a whole nother game. But the whole time I believed that something else could happen for me. Now I'm teaching millions of people how to get their money straight. And every now and then I run into a few who honestly admit they don't think they can do it. They don't think they can end their spending addiction. They don't think that they can stop overspending. They don't think that they can stop using money to buy love. Let me tell you something. Money cannot buy love. And if somebody is trying to buy your love with money, subtract the money and see what's left. You see, you have to change your mind, and you have to decide and tell yourself that you are powerful, that you are strong, that you are capable, and that yes, you can beat any condition that you have been given. You can beat any condition that you have picked up. You see, some of the things that you do because you were trained to do them. You do them because your parents did it, or grandparents, or there are things that go down from one generation to the next, and you start repeating cycles because that's what you saw, that's what you lived. That doesn't have to be you. You have to change your mind and get the mind of Christ, because the mind of Christ is strong. The mind of Christ is powerful. The mind of Christ is love, and the mind of Christ rules. So when you start to think positive thoughts, and when you start to tell those bad thoughts, listen, you don't have a place here. Listen, you can't live here. Listen, bad thought, anxiety, stress, depression, you don't belong here. When you change your mind, then you have the ability to go after and get everything that you want. Now, let me help you understand something. We all think bad thoughts. I think bad thoughts about myself, other people. Sometimes I want to, when people get on your nerves, there's some things that you want to do. I have all of those thoughts. But you then have to capture those thoughts, and you have to take control of them, and then you have to tell them what to do, and then you have to make a decision about who you are and where you're going. The next thing that I want you to do, so number 1 is change your mind. Number 2 is to live beyond your potential. That's right. How do you do that? Well, first of all, let me help you understand what potential is. Anytime somebody tells you have the potential, that means you're not doing it right now. When somebody says you have the potential, that means it's not happening today. So you want to live beyond potential, because potential is something that we can't even measure anyway. So I want you to go beyond that. I had the potential to be a great mortgage professional, and I became a world-class financial professional. I had the potential to be a somewhat okay mother, and I hope that I have become a great mother because I have been in my children's lives and guided them. I had the potential to be a good wife, and 25 years later, I have a strong marriage to a man who I love and who I know who loves me. So go beyond your potential. You see, potential can limit you. Potential can scare you. But if you go beyond your potential, then you'll look back and see that God was on your side, keeping up with you, pushing you to the next step, and moving when you couldn't even move on your own. So live beyond your potential. The next thing I want you to do is to live below your means. That's right. If you have $10, you cannot spend $20. If you have $200, you cannot spend $400. Let me tell you something. If you're living from check to Monday, that can exist in any environment, because what I understand is more money doesn't solve a money problem. If it did, millionaires wouldn't go bankrupt. So if you make $200,000 a year and you spending $300,000, you live in check to Monday. If you make $50,000 a year but you spending $75,000, you live in check to Monday. It doesn't matter how much you're making. If you're spending more than that, then you are defying mathematics. And I want you to get inside the mathematical equation, because math is proven. It is scientific. 1 + 1 = 2. So we are not going to spend 10. Live below your means. The first 10% of every dime you get, you tithe. The next 10% you're going to save. The next 30% is cash in your pocket to help you avoid a spending addiction. A spending addiction is what you have when you go to the grocery store for toothpaste and walk out with $179.47 worth of stuff you don't need, talking about it was on the rollback rack and you know that was not on sale for you. Have you ever done that? And the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. Now, when you look at the amount of money that you have for your bills, one of two things is happening. Either you have more than enough money. If you have more than enough money, that's not a license to go buy a bigger house, a bigger car, a new pair of shoes, and all that other kind of stuff. First, you want to eliminate your debt, because there is a middleman between you and your wealth, you and your self-care, wealth care, living self. And that is interest. Interest is making the money that you should be making. So you want to pay off your debt, as much of it as you can. You may want to put some money aside for a business trip, because I don't believe in vacations. Vacations, you cannot get your money back. But if you take a business trip, you can write off all of your on-the-road expenses, including your travel, your hotel, half your meals, and then you can still go do some of the things that you did on vacation. So the first 10% you tithe, the next 10% you save, the next 30% is cash in your pocket, and the remaining 50% stays in your checking account for your bills. If there's more than enough money, I want you to be smart with it. If you don't have enough money for your bills, now you have to subtract. Subtract what? You have to subtract whatever is in the way. Let me tell you what I subtracted. I subtracted the car. I subtracted the house. Yeah, I subtracted some things that people get attached to. Let me tell you something. Don't fall in love with the walls. If you cannot afford your house, go live someplace where you can sleep in peace. You don't want to be house rich and cash poor. So you're living below your means. So number one was change your mind. Number two is live beyond your potential. Number three is live below your means. Number four, check your energy. Do you wake up every day with an attitude? Do you go to sleep at night afraid? Are you filled with anxiety? Let me tell you something. That energy is what's going to create all of the reality around you. And let me tell you something. Energy is like money in the bank. Once you spend it, it's gone. So what I want you to understand is this. You've got to check the people that are draining your energy, so then you can check your energy and get to where you're trying to go. Let me repeat. You have to check the people who are draining your energy, so then you can check your energy and live the kind of life that you want to live. Check your energy. If you are full of possibility, if you are full of love, if you are full of life, then that's what you are going to attract. Now, that doesn't mean be blind. That doesn't mean ignore things. That doesn't mean, it means you are going to start manifesting what it is that you want in your life. And if you are always feeling fearful, if you are always feeling anxiety, if you are always feeling depression, I want you to check the people around you and see who's causing that. You see, when I began to take control of my life, I could tell when something wasn't right, because I'd get on the phone with somebody and instantly my energy would change. And those are the conversations I would end immediately. Now, I'm not saying that you have to completely disconnect from everyone. I'm not saying that you have to completely cut people off. Now, you may have to have some conversations, and I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. But what it means is that if you want to have 8, the number of new beginnings, live in your life and achieve the things that you want to achieve, then your energy is attached to that. Number 5, I want you to smile through conflict, okay? Stop going off for everything. The people at the place where you ordered the chicken from, the chicken came back cold and now you went off. Do you think they intended to give you cold chicken? Or do you think maybe there's just a flaw in the working system? Maybe there's something that they're not doing right. Maybe they put the wrong order in the wrong place. Whatever it is, there's a much better way for you to get what you want to get than going off. I definitely have an issue with my attitude sometimes, okay? So I'm preaching to you, and I'm also preaching to myself. But for the most part, I build long-term, long-lasting relationships, because even when things don't go my way, I smile through conflict. When I first went to work for Russell Simmons, and I first went to work for MC Light, and I first went to work for any of these big projects that I have been blessed to be able to receive and then transform other people's lives and transform my life, everything didn't start off the way I wanted to. Everything didn't start off quickly. But guess what? I smiled through the conflict. Sometimes people didn't return my calls for months. Sometimes I didn't know what was happening for weeks. Sometimes I didn't know if what they said they were going to do was actually going to happen. But I never got in their face about it. I never acted like I had an attitude about it. Now, yes, it got on my nerves. I would cry to myself. I would, feel like, oh my God, is it going to happen? What's going to happen? But when I got in their presence, I never let them see me sweat. You have to learn how to smile through conflict and not let everybody see you falling apart. Because here's the deal. You have to ask yourself, what do you want in the end? And if there's something that you want from someone, if there's something that you want them to do, if you want to be a part of their team, if you want to have access to them so you can come up, then you got to smile through conflict, because people are only going to work with people who they like. All right. And if you are not likable, if you cannot smile through conflict, if every time something goes wrong or doesn't go your way, you act a fool, okay, it's going to be a problem. So I want you to smile through conflict. The number 6 thing that I want you to do is to learn what you don't know. If you don't have enough money in the bank, it's because you don't know what you're doing. If you are always stressed out about money, it's because you don't know what you're doing. If your relationship is falling apart, it's because either A, you don't know what you're doing, or B, because you don't know how to end it. If anything in your life is not going the way it's supposed to go, and you know you have the means, like the money comes in, but you just never have any, that's a problem. Learn what you don't know. Go and get a financial education. If you are living from check to Monday, if you are always broke, if you can't save anything, if you know you have a spending addiction, you know if you have a spending addiction, you know if you're going out buying things and those things make you feel better, you know that you're going out buying things that you can't afford, you know when you're doing that. You know when you're buying extra things for your children because you want them to feel like that they have things like all the other kids. Let me tell you something. Money can't buy love, and money cannot buy respect. Let me tell you what love is. Let me tell you what respect is. Love is telling the truth. Respect is respecting your bank account, respecting mathematics, and teaching your children and teaching the people around you how to get a financial education and teaching them how to live within your means. You see, I used to give money to people even when I was broke so they wouldn't think I was broke, which I was. Let me tell you something. There's no honor in that. There is no justice in that. There is no right in that. I know lots of people who are struggling, trying to figure out how they're going to send their kids back to college in the fall. They're not going back. If they get A's, they go to school for free. If they got C's, they go into the free school. If they got there and they still don't have a scholarship for them, then send them to a school that's going to accept them and they can work and pay off their tuition. And then if they do an excellent job, they can transfer to another school. You are not supposed to go into your retirement, into your emergency fund savings. You're not supposed to do that to put somebody through school. Money cannot buy love. So I want you to learn what you do not know so that you can get the information you need so you can grow. Number 7, write in a journal. I want you to write everything. Write your thoughts, write your fears, write what you love, write what you hate, write what you don't like, write what's bothering you, write your dreams, write where you want to go. Thoughts disentangle themselves when they pass through your fingertips. Get a journal. Get something to document your experience. I wrote things in 2008 that literally are happening right now. There are things that I wrote in 2008, 2009, 2010, the plans that I had, the things I wanted to do, the companies I wanted to start, the people I wanted to work with, the lives I wanted to change. And I am telling you, if I could not look back on that stuff and see it and then know that I am living in it right now, I wouldn't fully understand the power of the things that I'm talking to you about right now. So I want you to write. The number 8, the last thing I want you to do in this season of new beginnings. 8 is the number of new beginnings. And now is the time for you to seize your power. I want you to tell the truth with love. Tell the truth with love. Stop avoiding those difficult conversations. The difficulty is not going anywhere. And what's going to happen is the matter is going to get worse. Tell the truth with love. Now, I'm preaching to myself. Sometimes I have a problem with that. People say, Lynn, you need better people skills. I tell them, if I had better people, maybe my skills will get better. You know, I'm trying. I'm just telling you the truth. And sometimes when you tell the truth, it comes out, maybe not the way that the person would want to receive it. But here's the test. Is love beneath it? If you got to say something, just make sure love is underneath it. Let's make sure jealousy is not underneath it. Let's make sure evil or hatred or, envy, let's make sure those things are not underneath it. Make sure that what you are about to communicate comes from a place of love. Even if you have to end a relationship, if you have to tell someone, listen, you can't go back to school. Listen, I'm no longer able to do these things for you. Listen, I don't want to talk to you today. I might not even want to talk to you tomorrow because when we talk, this happens or that happens. Just tell the truth with love. Tell the truth with love. 8, the number of new beginnings. Now is your season. This is your time.